Hello and welcome to Verbal to Visual. Today I would like to share how you can use 3 tools, a spiral-bound paper notebook, a Pentel Energel pen, and a Fujifilm instant camera to document a travel experience. First, let me share a quick flip through to show you what my finished travel journal looks like before digging into some of the details. I used this journal to capture a long weekend visit to Austin, Texas with my fiance Shelby. Neither of us had been to the city before, but it had been on our list of places to visit for quite some time, so it was fun to spend a low-key weekend walking and scootering and lifting around the city. And even though there will be some memories from that trip that we won't forget, the purpose of creating a journal like this is to capture some of the snapshots of the day's activities. In some cases, literal snapshots with the photos. In other cases, sketch snapshots, each of which serve as an entry point into that particular activity or memory. And even though it's super easy to take photos on your phone and even keep a digital journal in something like Evernote, I feel like there's a little bit more value and use that comes from a journal like this that you can literally grab off the shelf and flip through. This is fun to revisit now, just a couple of weeks after this trip, and I think it will be even more fun to revisit years and even decades in the future. So with that as an overview of this travel journal, let's next look at the individual pieces. Starting with the camera. We actually picked up this camera while in Austin. We happened to stumble upon it in a store that we hopped into. But we'd seen it before. A friend of ours owns this same camera and brings it along to some group activities. We've also seen it at a couple of weddings. And in fact, Shelby and I plan to use it at ours. The film for these cameras is not cheap. Each cartridge contains 10 photos. And you can get these 2-packs. I think it comes out to somewhere between $1 and $1.50 per photo, which yes, is a little bit expensive. But what I like about that is that it means you pay a little bit more attention to what you do choose to capture. You can't take 10 photos in a row on your phone and then delete all but the best. You have to put a little bit more attention and energy into the capturing process. And I think that's a helpful constraint to get you to capture not every single memory, just the highlights. You're able to adjust the exposure depending on how much light you have. It takes a little bit of practice to get right. Here's a poorly exposed photo when Shelby and I were walking along the river, but with a bit of practice you get the hang of it. And my goal with our trip was simply to take just one photo of every major activity we did during the day. Let's next take a look at how we weave together the photos we took along with some sketch notes to accompany those photos and add a bit more imagery. We combine those within this Traveler's Company notebook, captured of course the location of our visit, Austin, Texas, the dates, even our flight route there, our first trip out to the White Horse for some live music and dancing. For me, it's fun to sketch out the signs of the places we visit. Oftentimes that's a restaurant or bar. So the idea with the combination of these sketches and photographs is just to be able to kind of revisit our day a little bit. Remind ourselves of where we went to eat, the places we visited, and what we did in those places. Like exploring the new public library, which has these cool floating stairways, stumbling upon a bunch of cool books that have design ideas for rustic homes, a chilly walk along the Colorado River, and so on. We stayed in an Airbnb throughout this trip, a very affordable one because it's a small old school trailer, just enough space for the two of us. And even though the quality of the photos aren't as good as if we had taken them with our phones and then printed them out somewhere, for me, I kind of like the character that comes from less polished photos. And the fact that they dispense instantly from the camera and that you can see them develop, that's pretty cool. I feel like it's rare for us to see printed out photos because we're so used to looking at them on a screen. And with the added handwritten text, we're able to share what we did associated with each of those photos, include some details that weren't captured by photo, and add some commentary to whatever events we happened to explore that day. I like to use this opportunity to practice drawing things that I've never drawn before. Sometimes with a physical reference right in front of me, drawing it more or less realistically, and other times simplifying it and drawing it a bit more abstract than the real thing, but still giving a clear visual as to what it was we were experiencing. So in that way, I kind of also use this as a fun practice activity to help me develop my sketchnoting skills that will come in handy for future note-taking sessions. And you've got all the same elements too. Some hierarchy with text, simple imagery, weaving the two together. So if you're looking for a new way to capture your next travel experience, something that you'll enjoy looking back on in the future, and also something that will help you develop your visual note-taking skills, then try something like this yourself. Your own sketchnoted journal, maybe with some Polaroid style instant photos to supplement your sketches. I hope that the examples I shared here gave you some starting points. And if you would like a bit more support on the sketchnoting side of things, then check out the courses available at verbaltovisual.com. Links down below. Thank you so much for watching. Have fun experimenting with your own sketchnoted travel journals, and I'll see you again in the next video. Till then.